kiss for you.
The out of context answer is this. I do believe that Discord is still worth using in 2025 and probably 2026. However, I do not have confidence, given their rapid expansion of the model from COVID and the initial public offering sentiment that the CEO is talking about, that it will continue to be a good idea to use the service. And that goes in with some association relating to things I talk about of the obligatory reason that people tend to use services, and the fact that it feels like Discord is quickly becoming that. It's quickly becoming a service that you have to use because of its feature set and not necessarily something you want to use. And similar to something like how Windows 11 oftentimes is a required thing you need to use because it has the software that works with it, Discord is becoming the de facto standard, if you will, for voice chat and video chat, even if you would not like it to be. And so with the initial public offering sentiment, as well as the rapid expansion, I feel like Discord will quickly become something that is just being used as an obligation and not because you actually want to use it. And to me, that means it's something that's going to quickly become, a thing that you don't want to use and you want to kind of go away from. So while it is useful now to use it, I definitely think in the future, hopefully something pops up that is maybe open source in a way that can let the community spearhead it. Because as it stands, as a reminder, Discord doesn't make any money. And so when it doesn't make any money and it needs to start making money because of the expansion, you're going to see some bad choices like introducing ads into the mobile device and introducing, issues when it comes to security and two-factor and all that. So to answer that question, I think it's worth using right now, but I would definitely absolutely be cautious of it, especially considering their rapid expansion, their talks about going public, as well as the way that people are starting to use Discord as just a de facto, obviously it's on Discord, right? Well, the obviously is going to turn into, obviously it's on Skype, and everyone's using Skype. I feel a very similar thing happening to both of those. So just be wary of that, but, it's definitely something I want to make people's attention to, because I think a lot of people, if they're new to Discord, may think of, it's just the platform that my school used or whatever, right? For what they were doing. But that is a very recent change. And when things go through recent changes, you're going through a lot of growing pains. And I think Discord's going to have some casualties when it comes to that people don't really see yet. So, all right, welcome back to Out of Context, a series where we look at things from an out of context or idiot perspective to see if they still work for normal people. And today we're doing something a little bit different and talking about Discord, which is still something that is being actively used and updated, unlike a lot of things we talk about on this series. And the reason I'm starting with this is because I really want to answer the question of, is Discord still being used and is Discord still worth using now? And obviously a lot of people's answer to this would be, of course it is, because there's, no other option for what Discord is doing. And that's kind of what I want to really examine is when the start of the pandemic happened in 2020, Discord really changed its tone from a more gaming niche-centered thing where you can chat and stream effectively your games to a more well-rounded chat application with a lot more safety features and a lot more kind of server-based things and things that would be useful for a lot of people, as you can see, and not just games. And that was a really big and stark and quick difference. And that was a change. Discord used to be fully focused on sort of the games aspect, and now, as you can see from the top here, what is it when you first load up Discord? You see, fun and games for playing games, but it also is the emphasis on that worldwide community. And the top bars here aren't like what it is for gaming and all the streaming stuff. The top bars are safety. Safety news, safety library, transparency hub, teen and parent hub, advertising, support centers, community features, how to use, engineering and developers, SDKs and stuff, careers. There's no longer a focus on the more, hey, you can stream your game on this, you can upload higher resolution images to things, you can create group chats with discussions, it can ping your friends to talk about what game you're playing and have them jump in on it, right? None of that's really talked about in this first opening here, right? It's talking about a standard group chat experience with emojis and stickers and things. It talks about streaming here, making it, very well documented that this was at some point for gaming, but it also talks about watching shows, looking at photographs, doing homework, right? It's not just as focused on the streaming part of it. It also talks about the flexibility of voice chat and text channels and things. And the reason that's important is because that is a big shift from before, when it was pretty much just about gaming, to in the pandemic, you need to, this service needs to be used for multiple things than just that. And a good example is my school used it for their CS department. They were using it because it had a very good, the server feature where you can make different channels and stuff. That was very good. And they didn't want to pay the like $200 a month or something it was for Slack, so that Discord is free, right? But the reason this is important is because I want to examine this idea of using things just for obligation. And right now, I don't think Discord is in that, but you can absolutely see as Discord tries to do, an initial public offering of, being public and discussing that they want to go public at some point, the enshittification or what that ends up meaning. And part of looking at, enshittification, what becomes worse is, are we just using this for an obligatory reason? Good example is Windows 11. A lot of people use Windows 11 for work or for personal use because they have to, since it runs applications that only Windows can run. They don't like using it, they'd rather use something else, but their work, for instance, demands it because the programs they use are only on Windows, or the only security thing they have set up for their IT department is, set up to manage Windows devices and not for Mac. Whole bunch of reasons. A lot of people end up using Windows 11 for an obligatory reason, even if they don't want to. YouTube is a similar thing. There's not other services you can really go to or you really want to go to, so you feel like you have to use YouTube and you have to post stuff on YouTube if you want to get seen by anyone. Another example, Samsung phone sales, right? Samsung as a Samsung as an Android supplier of phones is a large part of it, right? They are definitely a very large segment, as you can see from these charts here, but that is not the only option. Samsung do sell a lot of phones, and they probably sell, from this chart here, a good percentage of the phones, but they are not selling the most amount of phones. In the US, it is Apple that is the primarily 53% target there. In other countries, it is a little bit different. You can see from their revenue here that the dark blue consumer electronics, which is this middle one here, this lighter blue, is actually a pretty small percentage of how Samsung historically makes money. It started off as a larger percent in 2011 and has slowly shrunk as their communications goes up and their display panel and semiconductor stuff goes up as well. So Samsung phone and having a Samsung phone is not a requirement. It's not an obligatory thing that you need to have. You can get a Google phone, you can get a Xiaomi phone, you can get, whatever. It's not as popular in the US here, but that is other options. You are not effectively forced into using Samsung devices. But what about Discord? And now we get back to the Discord question of, are you forced to use Discord? If you want what Discord is offering in terms of voice chat and video chat, and the ability to send images and stuff, do you have to use Discord? I'm not even going to kind of mention the whole server aspect. I'm just saying, hey, if you want voice chat, video chat, or a way to text people, what do you do, right? Do you use 3 different services? Do you go back to, for example, like TeamSpeak, which I believe is only the voice and video, although it does look pretty similar now. It does appear to have text messages. But again, it's going to be a little bit more, teammates, security, lag-free performance. They've also kind of molded to a more gaming focus as Discord has moved away from it. Do you go to TeamSpeak, where you have a similar setup? Although I would even argue this is more gaming focused. But that might be what you're looking for, right? Do you do that, and you have a similar text chat, voice chat setup? But I don't believe TeamSpeak does video. I don't see any video being shown off here. Let's view all features. Do I see video communication anywhere? Text chat, file transfer, scalability. I don't see any video. So it does voice chat and it does text chat, but it does not appear to do video chat. So, okay, if you need video or want to do video, Discord is TeamSpeak is pretty much out. Let's see. Do you require... it looks like it's free. Okay, so there's not like an ongoing price to be paid. So TeamSpeak is out if you need things that are a little bit more video focused. If you also want to do things that just aren't strictly gaming, TeamSpeak also doesn't seem to be a good option. Skype, as we know, has shut down. I talked about that in my last video, so you're not going to be doing Skype anytime soon. The other options, Slack is another option that's a little bit more business focused. Slack, I will remind you, is a business plus $9 a month per user per month when paying monthly approach. There's a free version, but it only has, very limited functionality. So let's just say you do the pro version and you're looking at, let's say $8 per user per month. So let's say you want to have like 10 people on your server, that's $80 a month. So Slack is not really that useful in terms of, it might have some integrations that are nice, right? And some AI stuff that's nice, but it's not going to be useful for the general population. So you're pretty much stuck with Discord, as we've shown here. And that means you're forced to use Discord in an obligatory manner. And that isn't great, because now you have to answer the question, as we get back to it, of is Discord still worth using? As it's becoming worse in terms of the ads that it's able to show, the features that it's doing, the retention that it's trying to play, are you going to be able to feel comfortable using Discord as a platform? And to that extent, and to the extent that, as I mentioned, Discord is becoming considerably more focused on that monetization stuff, but also considerably more broadened in its approach of what it's doing, I would say that more people are using Discord than ever, and that at least so far has not resulted in a dramatic change to how Discord operates, at least at this time. And what that means is, yes, I think Discord is helpful and is useful and should still be being used, but I don't have the confidence I could have before the change from COVID to say that will continue to be the case. When Discord launched, which I believe was 2015, when Discord launched, it was a focused gaming platform with some stuff, and they expanded, past instant messaging and VoIP stuff to be a larger social platform, if you will. And there was confidence in that because it was so much better than Skype, and for a lot of the time it was like a pretty small team, and so there wasn't really a concern that it was going to go beyond what it could do, because Discord can't really make money. And I will continue to say Discord still does not really make that much money. The only way Discord makes money in terms of you paying for it is Discord Nitro, which I can't imagine anyone uses, but it does give you a decent bit of benefits, higher upload, custom emojis, HD video streaming, server boosting, that kind of thing. But it's about $10 a month, so it's not super cheap there. Only way it makes money, no one's using it, no one really cares, so it's not that big of a thing. So Discord isn't making money, and they've expanded dramatically as a free service the amount of people they're serving with their expansion from COVID. So you have to start making money at some point, which is why I'm saying, unfortunately, unlike some other, like TeamSpeak, I think at one point was open source. I don't believe it is anymore. But unlike those kind of things, which can kind of coast off donations and don't really have a big development stuff, now you need to start raking in money because you were supporting like 10x the amount of people you used to be able to support, and you just can't do that, which is something that I think people are starting to realize, is you can't support that many more people with a model that makes absolutely no money. So you're going to start becoming worse. And that is why I don't have confidence that Discord is going to continue to be the service that people are using. Because, well, right now they're using it and it's helpful. You can feel the cracks starting to form in terms of the limit it puts on file uploads, in terms of the limit it puts to streaming and how long you can stream, the quality as more people get on of the peer-to-peer connection, other things like the issues it's had with injection of code and images and corrupted files and things that are happening. You're getting a lot of issues that start to pop up when you basically have to expand really quickly and you can't really bother with how that works. In conclusion, I would say that's pretty much how that works. If you're interested in this kind of stuff and want to see more other context on the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button below, comment, like the video, and I'll see everyone in the next video.